Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today we're talking about Season 2, episodes 5 through 9. Welcome, Losties, Island Boys and Island Girls. Something I'm trying. I'm Will. Also, here is Ben, and you can watch full episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton, Dr. Skeleton. So here we are, Ben, in the middle of season 2, and we're hitting an absolute brick wall, dude. Oof.
Yeah, these episodes suck.
Dude.
But I really hate Ana Lucia, so
Yes.
it was like at least you put them all in the same block. I didn't really want to tell you about this before. I couldn't remember the exact episodes, but she's definitely my least favorite character.
Yeah.
She sucks big time.
She really sucks, man.
You know, no surprise. Worst character on the show is a cop, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sucks big time. I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I guess we'll have her episode as episode 8 here that will actually talk about her backstory. But like, she's frustrating in a way that is, I think, partially intentional. It has to be.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, definitely there's like a lot of tension of like she's holding everybody hostage through just kind of arbitrarily in that last episode, and you're supposed to feel like, oh, these guys are goofing around golfing, and she's, holding everybody up. But then also just like there's a clever little twist in her backstory that makes you're supposed to like, oh, see things from her perspective or something, and like, no, doesn't work. Sorry, I still hate her, and I don't want her around.
Yeah.
And it is not
too little, too late. Anyway, They make you wait
Absolutely.
4 episodes to get a tiny little twist.
Right. And yeah, that's not the kind of antagonist I'm interested in for Lost. I think that's when I run into frustrations in season 1. I want the antagonist to be an actual antagonist. I don't need this man versus man bullshit. Give me a villain.
Yeah. Well, have you considered the fact that perhaps Ana Lucia was planted in the show to make people hate Jack a little bit less?
Maybe, man. Because it worked. I like.
Yeah.
I am now like, give me Jack's nonsense.
You've seen 24 episodes of Jack.
Yeah.
And we hear you. Jack sucks. So what if there was another group of people on the other side of the island and they had an even
They have a worse
Jack?
Jack. Yeah.
What do you think about Jack now?
Yeah. Oh man. Yep, she's enemy number 1. I think the average quality of these episodes is higher than the slowdown of season 1, but I've never been more done with the show than now. Like purely based on
Okay.
Ana Lucia. And this supports my fives theory. Just watch the first and last 5 episodes of a TV show that you're trying to get through, like of a season. And I think you'd be all right. You cut out like 15 filler episodes.
There are more filler episodes to come. The most notable one is yet to come. But I was kind of holding back on saying this, but I don't think it's going to spoil anything. That like, okay, if you're feeling bad, don't give up, because I guess Mr. Lindelof or whatever, and JJ and Abrams and co, whatever, they were kind of being dragged along by the network, by my understanding.
Oh yeah.
And they have an episode that's such a low in particular later on in this season, that it basically got them into the clear with the network to move forward the big plot points in the entire series.
The network just wanted like just give us more Lost with that. Like, we want to stretch this out as much as possible because so many people are watching it. Is that the idea?
I I mean, I think that's what a lot of TV shows do, right? But yeah, it was like, okay, you can't like start the I mean, there's a long way to go, but you can't like push towards the end. We can't like set an end date for the series yet because we don't know how long we can want to possibly stretch this thing out.
Ugh.
And then they put in some episodes. Again, one in particular that gets cited that's like this sucks. Now you're on the same page as us as the creators and the writers. We're going to set an end date for the show, and now we can kind of map out the rest of the series with the big plot points that remain, and there's no more filler stuff.
Gotcha.
Though I also say these episodes suck, but I don't know that they count as filler. I think this is probably some of the worst uh
Earnest?
not quite filler
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, earn it.
Earnest
Yeah,
worst good faith. So there's
yeah,
so okay, so the first few episodes of this season were the like, okay, we kind of start at like one point and then we go back in time and fill in some of the gaps. And that is or not we don't go back in time, but we see the events leading up to the one thing. We don't actually progress too much further in the future. We just follow different characters' perspective until we get to that same meeting point. And I thought it was like an interesting device to do that um, in the first handful of episodes. It wore out pretty quick for me in this second batch. I think I will say that like
mhm,
the at least the like the other 48 days episode um at least it like moves through everything pretty quickly. We're not spending a
sure,
whole episode just doing like the previous hour like some of it seems like we've done before.
sure. I mean, they could have just stretched this out into an entire half of a season of
Th-
like what happened on the other
if they made it
island,
today,
other
I
side of
feel
the
like they
island.
would do that. Um
Yeah,
and so I guess I'll be thankful for that. Uh I'm super curious. I suspect JJ is really basically not doing much at this point. Um, I think it's mostly Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse running the show here, and uh, maybe if they had a bigger dog in the studio like JJ to like I don't know fight the network a little bit,
yeah.
they would be able to push towards the resolution. But uh,
Speaking of big dogs, just sorry, little small tangent here. Vincent Vincent gained some weight in the between the
he's a big
seasons.
boy. He's a good boy.
He was looking a little barrel chested. I
Yes.
felt a little bad. That made me a little sad. Except for the fact that we know 20 years later still kicking it apparently, but he
And
was looking a little barrel chested.
he was also that can't be true.
That he's alive?
Like he would have had to
You
be
could be a 20-year-old dog.
you
Usually it's a
could.
small dog
Usually
though,
it's a small dog, usually not like a lab. And also, okay, maybe Vincent was
but
like
he's famous.
a that's true, like the best care in the game, hopefully. Uh
Yep.
Vincent didn't seem like a puppy in the first season. It seemed like this dog had been around. It was like a couple years old. I thought like that's a maybe a year like a dog that's 2 or 3 years old the first season. But now
Mm.
maybe that Vincent's barrel chested in the second season. Maybe he was a puppy at first and now he's like I don't know, he's just grown up and now he's big. But like could a dog be like 23, 24? I don't know, man. A lab like that. Anyway, I don't want to
Yeah,
dwell too much, but I did. Vincent was my favorite part of these episodes because, uh, I mean, d-
because he's not Ana Lucia.
because he's not Ana Lucia, and also just dogs don't know that they're in a TV show. They're just out there having a good time.
They're just chilling.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about season 2, episode 5, which is titled "Dot Dot Dot" and Found. Um, I don't think any of these episodes are directed by
Ellipse.
our guy Jack Bender, which I think of the directors, he's kind of the main one that was like, "Oh, okay, I think we're in for a good episode." And picking up on these.
Every time you mention Jack Bender, it if you rewatch the video, I mouth it to myself and I think to myself, it reminds me of Maurice Binder, because you always mention Maurice Binder a lot during the Bond series,
Yeah,
and it's finally clicked in my mind. They should got Maurice Binder to do a little bit of a different Lost
title sequence.
title sequence.
Perhaps
Maurice Binder definitely not on the staff
no.
for Lost.
I will say, yeah, maybe the lost title sequence isn't like the most compelling, isn't the most fun. Uh, 20 years later, but is that it is at
Yeah,
least 5 seconds long. It is not a
sure,
Maurice Binder joint.
sure.
Yeah.
I do like those. I think they should have put Jack uh, doing the little belly dance like in From Russia with Love, and they do like the neon light projection onto his
Hmm.
belly every episode, and they just play the From Russia with Love theme anyway, even though it's lost. That'd be good.
I agree. That could be fun. We're gonna recut the show, and it's instead of anything to do with Ana Lucia, we'll just play the From Russia with Love title sequence.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay,
This episode aired October 19th, 2005, directed by Stephen Williams, written by Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof. Sun searches for her missing wedding ring. Meanwhile, Michael conducts a solitary search for his kidnapped son. The characters of Sun and Jin Soo Kwon are featured in this episode's flashbacks. So yeah, in the flashback, Sun is set up on a date with Jay Lee, a wealthy and charming man. While they headed off, Jay reveals he plans to marry another woman, leaving Sun disappointed. He's like a hotelier. They forget they're doing the matchmaking. Sun didn't end up having finding a husband in college, and so her mom is like, "Time is ticking on you. We got to get you a husband stat."
yeah.
Meanwhile, Jin is preparing for a job interview as a hotel doorman. Although Mr. Kim, the interviewer, insults him for his humble background, Jin gets the job. At the hotel, Jin unknowingly opens the door for Sun, who is there to meet Jay. After Jay's revelation, Sun leaves heartbroken. Jin later helps a poorly dressed man and his son enter the hotel, despite orders not to, resulting in a scolding from his boss.
Poorly dressed man is a little bit of an understate. No, it's not. That sounds mean, but it's definitely a poor person,
Yeah,
poor family, maybe homeless people or something like that. Maybe not, but yeah. This is not. He's not being the fashion police out here.
no,
He,
it's because his boss is like, "Don't let people like you in here," meaning poor
yeah,
people. Right, and I guess
yeah,
he's dressed poorly. Uh,
yeah.
he's looking poor, I guess.
He's like, I knew you were from the South because I smelled fish on you
Yeah.
or whatever earlier on. Yeah. Number one rule: don't let anybody like you in,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a good rule. Folks, I hope all of you listeners, no one's ever said that to you.
Yep.
And if they have, take, I don't know where I was going with that. Take vengeance. I don't want to.
Oh, like searching diplomatically for the right phrase and softly saying, "Take vengeance." It's so funny.
Yeah.
Frustrated, Jin quits out of principle, which is cool. While walking, Jin encounters a woman in an orange dress, a symbol from his roommate's fortune telling, and shortly afterward, he collides with Sun, marking their first meeting. And there's the little meet cute.
Short. Sorry. I know that I'm the Wikipedia editor critic every single week over here. Shortly after, once again, meaning immediately
Immediately after.
after,
Yep.
a microsecond after.
Yeah. That also
Yep.
happened earlier. Like, after Jay's revelation, Sun leaves heartbroken. Jin later helps the poorly dressed man. Like, he opens the door for Sun, and then the guy comes up. Like, later,
Yeah.
meaning, like, right then. Yeah.
Mm,
At that same
yep.
point. Yep. So on the island, Sun frantically. Okay, I've heard of island in the sun, but sun on an island? What?
What's going on?
Listeners, what do you think? Write in. Uh, on the island, Sun frantically searches for her lost wedding ring. Jack offers help, but Sun declines because he like kind of is just like, I've lost something before.
Yeah,
It's-
very unhelpful.
yeah.
Hurley gives a better idea. Hurley's like,
Yes.
"Yo, let's follow the dog around.
Yes. Early. Yeah. Or like,
That dog ate your ring. It's
the
gonna
dog at
poop
your
it
ring,
out."
and then they don't look through. They don't wait to look through the poo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I felt bad for Hurley about.
Yeah.
That could have
That
been
was a pretty
his
good idea.
time to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I saw a tweet this week that was like white people saying, "If I was a wedding ring, where would I be?" Like, thought of Jack. Uh, when Sun angrily tears apart her garden, John Locke calms her by saying he no longer feels lost because he stopped searching. It's also not a helpful thing to really say when you're
Yeah.
like, okay, man, I don't know. Later, Sun confides in Kate about the recovered message bottle from the raft and admits she buried it. While digging up the bottle, Kate finds the wedding ring in the sand. Sun is relieved, and Kate reflects on her unspoken goodbye to Sawyer. On the other side of the island, Jin, Michael, and Sawyer and the tail section survivors decide to head to the main camp. At this point, so we're cutting to the Ana Lucia crew. Ana Lucia asks Sawyer if he's gay.
Ah, yes. She literally says,
You
"You
gay?
gay?"
Yeah,
Interesting 2005 artifact
I guess
now. Are we in
so. Yeah.
2005? Yeah.
Um, So who's in this crew? We've got Ana Lucia, Mr. Echo, who's so sick. We've got
Yeah.
Cindy, we've got Libby and Bernard. Yeah, it's like the 5 that remain
Bernard.
of the 23.
Yeah.
Michael, however, leaves to search for Walt. Jin and Echo pursue him, and in this pursuit, like Jin's like, "Nah, I'm going after him." Echo tries to stop him, and Jin just like swings, which is Jin's the man. He's the man. He has he's got a lot of guts. Um, he's not gonna beat Echo in a fight, but then like that, I don't know. Jin's principled stance kind of affects Mr. Echo, I think, a little bit.
Hmm.
Because then he like gives him the weapon to go after him, and then accompanies him on the search.
Yep.
So Jin and Echo pursue Michael, encountering a dead body of a man Echo identifies as Goodwin. Kind of it's implied that he's a victim of the others.
Yep.
They witness a silent group of the others, barefoot and carrying a teddy bear. This was maybe the coolest moment of this stretch, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, they're hiding in the jungle and the brush, and they just see like their feet pass by, and
No shoes.
no shoes. It is legal, even
Yep.
on the island. Um, and yeah, one of them has the teddy bear. I thought it would be really funny if like because it keeps like cutting back to like, the feet walking and their faces, more feet walking and there's you're supposed to sort of count them. But then it'd be funny if like it's like Muppet feet, like Kermit the Frog going by, and then it's like like a whole circus like elephant feet and just
Yeah.
uh a 40-minute parade.
Yep.
Eventually, Echo convinces Michael to return, warning that the others cannot be found unless they wish to be. So, not not the worst episode of this stretch by far. That in fact
Yep.
might be the best because we don't get too much Ana Lucia nonsense. We just get mostly it's like, oh, we're scared of the others. Like the tail section
Yeah.
survivors are like, we're really scared of the others. We kind of get this impression that like, yeah, the others have picked them off to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
I do think, in terms of character rehab, like we were joking about earlier, Jin is one of the most effectively slowly rehabbed
Yeah.
characters across the season 1 to season 2 timeline, right? Who you really start to think I at least think like, "Oh, maybe we misunderstood him," right? Because you are getting, uh, you know, stories from his past that you wanna be very sympathetic to, I think. And
I
you see his, um his courage, his
yeah,
sense of, identity
and justice. Like
and
he's got
justice, yeah,
principles throughout it. Yeah, I agree to a certain extent. There's not really much that explains the like cover yourself up. You're being you're hitting on this other man sort of thing. I d-
sure.
I don't think. Like there's just I think that was maybe just like 2004 shorthand for wasn't you're not supposed to take that too seriously, I guess. He's just acting like a jerk and then you'll become sympathetic to him. Other things are explained. I thought like the him being the most effective version of this was the like he's giving Sun the silent treatment, but it's out of like pride and he's escaping on the raft to come save her rather than like abandon her or like completely cut everything
Sure.
off. I think that's the most effective version of that so far.
Oh, I agree with that, yeah. I do think the cover yourself up stuff is a little bit more than shorthand, though. I think it's I think it's supposed to show you how, in a very twisted way, how much he considers, Sun a catch and how out of his league she is, right? And so how, uh, as you kind of get that context as time goes on,
Uh-huh.
that maybe that's why he's so possessive. And I don't mean to say that I'm not endorsing the behavior, but like I do think that's an effective storyline where you're like, oh, this guy, this guy was very much an underdog. A lot of kind of fate led him to Sun, and you see like the genuine side of that later on. But you also see his kind of self consciousness about it up front, right?
Okay.
That like anybody could take, maybe anybody could still take her away from him.
And that's the I guess yeah, and I guess like the show shows the kind of is irony of that is that like the more possessive of it, it's his possessive uh actions that are driving her to want to escape and it's
Yeah,
the him just being himself parts that persuade her to stay. uh like,
sure,
they still have like shit to figure out, but maybe they'll
sure,
I don't get there. So okay, so John
sure.
Locke's out wandering on the island. Doesn't he have like a button to go press? Like
Well, we see him pressing the button.
later
They take
on,
turns. It's
I
it's
know they take
established
turns,
that
but like,
they take turns.
this is very much like on pause though, and I feel like if I found out about this, this button would drive me nuts, dude. I would not leave the bunker. I don't think, even if like we had shifts.
I I would not be leaving the bunker unrelated to the button. Actually, the button would make me leave the bunker because I'm annoyed hearing the beeping, even the brief periods. Like when skipping forward a couple episodes when the thing beeps and Jack tells Locke to go turn off the thing, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be telling him long before Jack said that. Like, turn off that fucking button, dude. This is why we have shifts. I don't want to hear that thing beep. Um, I'd be chilling in the bunker.
Yeah,
I'll be resting in the bunk bed, whatever. I know that food's gone.
yeah.
Still, I'm chilling inside. I'm not going outside.
I think that makes sense. They do make a good like I've seen enough Survivor over Zoe's shoulder to know that it's not very comfortable to live on on an island like this. Uh, but they
Yeah,
do a pretty good job about like I don't know. They kind of look a little grimy, but they're not like disgusting all the time and like sweaty and nasty as you would think. They kind of make it seem like oh they're probably like relatively comfortable just like hanging out on the beach, which is also like the least comfortable place in the world, a beach.
sure.
By the way, are you hearing all of this noise on my microphone? I feel like I started the okay, good. I started this recording, then like
No.
everything started getting super loud. Okay. But no, I would not leave the bunker just like it would just I'd be so anxious. I'd be in there entering that code. Why don't they rig up a little mechanism? Little you couldn't you automate entering that code? Why don't you get like
Like a CS 101 two-line program. Yes, every sleep for 100 minutes, enter code.
mhm. Although
Sleep for another
I
100
would
minutes.
I would still probably be a bit nervous and be monitoring it.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna give that a 3 out of 5. That episode,
Yeah, it's a 3 for me.
yeah. All right, let's talk about season 2, episode 6, "Abandoned," which eagle-brained viewers will catch as a synonym for lost, perhaps. Kind of.
Yes. Also comes up in this episode.
Oh,
People calling each other lost.
they said it.
Not abandoned. They say it. They're like, "You're lost." Look
Leo
at the whole
point.
cam. Look at the camera. We're all lost.
Boom, 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 boom. Air date November 9th, 2005. Directed by Adam Davidson and written by Elizabeth Sarnoff. Some new names, I think. Shannon's episode here.
Yep.
We get some flashbacks. Shannon is teaching ballet. I thought okay, so there's very much this sort of okay, where we get flashback noise and we know it's about Shannon and we start seeing like little little uh young girl ballerinas and like camera like dollies out past a number of them and we're supposed to and it lands on one girl and we're like ah okay this is young Shannon and then she steps into frame and it's like oh it's just like a few years ago she was teaching the class uh
Yeah.
but you're kind of led to believe, oh, this is going to be super far back. But she's teaching ballet when she receives news of her father's car accident. At the hospital, she learns that her father, Adam Rutherford, has died from the crash. Famous actor Adam Rutherford.
Another
Yeah.
famous
Just
Adam
saying a
Adam
full
Rutherford.
name is just always going to be like, am I?
Am I
I guess you
supposed to
don't
know?
really know what you're supposed to keep track of or not because uh
Yeah.
eagle-eyed viewers will notice that Jack Shepard is briefly seen rushing to perform surgery on Sarah, his future wife, who was also involved in the same accident. Uh, I
Mm.
gotta admit, I did not clock that. I just thought it
Did
was like,
not clock that
oh,
at
here's
all.
just like another accident happening at at this hospital, and Jack is there because it's a hospital and
No.
he's there. But I guess it was the same
I,
accident.
I was mostly caught up thinking when they were showing the ballet scene and I was looking through the windows at the background, I was like, this is Hawaii. This is Hawaii. Everything in the show is shot and happens in Hawaii, and that just sort of distracted me. But
hmm
uh, yeah, interesting. Did not catch that one.
But I guess it's kind of Star Warsy. There's like everything is connected. Doesn't need to be that connected. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out why it needs to all be connected.
Sure.
At her father's funeral, Shannon's stepbrother Boone Carlisle consoles her. He like shows up and he's like, "Death sucks, huh?"
Yeah.
And then they
And she's like, "Ah, so nice."
mhm.
It's like the HR, please help me meme or whatever.
Yeah,
Anybody else
yeah.
says that to you, get away from me.
But Ian
When
Somholder, you're
when your hot
yeah,
stepbrother shows
gazes at
up
you
and
with those
says,
piercing blue eyes. Says,
"That
"Death sucks,
sucks."
huh?" I would say, the actress who plays Shannon, um, let me get her name, Maggie Grace. Cool name. Uh, I think she does a really good job, especially in this episode, where she does a really good job of like, okay, first of all, they specifically call out Shannon's age in this flashback. It's like, I just turned 18. And I was like, very worried. Like, why did they specifically call out Shannon is 18? And we're gonna get like a Saeed behavior uh guy showing up. Uh, but I think she does a really good job of like, okay, so she's a young woman in on the island, and she's just like a slightly younger woman in the flashbacks, but she's able to. A lot of times, people are just kind of like, I'm like Kate is still like I'm Kate this whole time, or and Jack is just kind of like this. I'm Jack this whole time, but she like I don't know. She plays younger, even though it's like just by 2 years in the back in the flashbacks. Uh,
Mm, okay.
you disagree?
I didn't take I'm not the kind of person that takes notice of
It's like
the
looking away
ages of
whenever there's
young
a woman on screen out of respect. Just it's you wait, you're not someone who
let me know
pays
when
attention
Saeed
to
shows up.
ages? Is that what you said?
No. No, I'm saying I'm not closely taking
Listeners,
note of those
you
things
catch
like
that?
you.
Did you all catch that too?
I'm doing that at you, actually. Don't try to turn that around on me.
I think you're weird for this. Welcome check out my co-host freaking Diddy over here.
That's you, actually.
No, you
Yep.
are you podcasting with a mirror? Because it's you. All right.
We need a no, if I was a doctor, if I was like Jack, I'd be like, "We need some help over here for this woman of indiscriminate age, but I'm not interested. I'll leave it to the female
See, that's
doctors."
weird. You're being weird right now. That's weird. Okay. Later, Shannon earns a dance internship in New York City, but her stepmother, Sabrina, refuses to give her access to her father's money. And a really like crummy way of revealing, like, oh, you don't have any inheritance. Feel like that you could have broken the news.
Yeah.
Not to say that you're entitled to inheritance, but you can break the news probably in a less shitty way than the way she did. Uh,
Sure.
s-
I feel like you would have known that ahead of time. I don't think I've never been subject to any inheritance, so I don't really know how it goes, but I imagine it to be a little closer to, a Knives I actually imagine it closer to be a Knives Out
no,
situation
there's the
than this
reading of
situation in
the
Lost.
will. Everybody shows
That's what I'm
up.
talking
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
No, it's like just a movie thing.
Just a movie thing, but I still imagine it to be like, well, there'd be people around and you would find out, not find out from your
I
stepmom
think that's probably mostly
later
how it
on.
goes.
Really? You find out from your
Or
stepmom.
just I
Okay.
think things just kind of happen if you're not like,
Somebody's gotta call you up and tell you. If you I guess if you
yeah, if
get
you're the
something,
winner.
somebody would call you
Yeah.
up. If you're the person who got something,
Mm.
yeah.
Nasty Sabrina dismisses Shannon's dream of becoming a dancer as a passing whim, forcing her to fend for herself. Boone attempts to help by asking his mother, but to no avail. When he offers Shannon his own money, she rejects it, feeling insulted by his lack of faith in her ability to succeed independently. On the island,
Sure.
Echo, Jin, Michael, and the tail section survivors, including Ana Lucia, Sawyer, Bernard, Libby, and Cindy, head towards the camp of the midsection survivors. I guess that's
I can't tell what is Cindy's job? Because they tell you that Libby's a uh
psychiatrist
she's like,
or
yeah, she's like, I'm a psychiatrist. And then later on, at some point, somebody's like, did you go to med school? And she's like, yeah, I dropped out.
after a
Now I'm a
year.
clinical psychiatrist or whatever. I'm like, pretty sure you have to go to medical school for that
Maybe
too, right?
psychologist.
N- uh, Both
Oh,
of them.
really?
Both of them. If she said she
Nah,
was a
you
therapist, no. If you just say you're a therapist, that doesn't imply
oh,
any of that. But if you're a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I think you have to. You know, it's a PhD thing.
I don't think you have to be. I don't think you have to go to med school to be a psychologist. Uh, a
Really?
quick Google search,
What
although,
do you have to do?
let's see, bachelor's
Also, she did
degree,
say she's a
supervised
psychiatrist. She
experience.
did say
Oh, really?
psychiatrist.
Okay, then you definitely
She
get
said
it.
psychiatrist. You gotta go.
Okay.
Then you get him giving medicine.
Cindy's job is beach.
Cindy's job
Barbie?
seems to be maybe that she's like a flight. She makes some references to like when they're arguing about who's seen who on the plane. She's like, "Well, I didn't see anybody on the plane." Like maybe she's
Oh,
the flight
yeah.
attendant, but I don't think she's the flight attendant. I can't. I really can't remember this from the show, but from watching before. What's her job?
Noticer.
Notice her. Yeah.
Along the way, Sawyer collapses due to an infection in that arm of his that got shot. Despite his protests to leave him behind, the group builds a stretcher and carries him, slowing their journey. After struggling to carry Sawyer uphill, they notice that Cindy has mysteriously disappeared. Soon after, they hear unsettling whispers surrounding them.
You know, when you put it this way, which doesn't include much reference to Ana Lucia, this episode doesn't sound that bad.
No,
But
but
just
she's
take it
around.
from us, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it from us, folks. If once again, if for some reason you're a psycho and you're listening to our podcast and you've never watched the show,
Please write in if you are a
uh,
psycho, how much med school you have to go to for that.
yeah. But if you're doing that for some reason, just believe us. Ana Lucia is around, and it's so annoying.
And it speaks to the fact that she's not showing up in the summary that much is it's not really necessary. Like it's just kind of like taking up time and just like being frustrating. It's like, but ultimately the
It
thing just happens anyway. But she's just there to like to mean mug and I don't know.
it's the
Very much like a
Sawyer
cop.
stuff to the
Nothing happens.
extreme.
You're just there to
Yeah,
be frustrate the process.
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Sawyer stuff to the extreme, but also the everybody else being a jerk to Sawyer stuff to the extreme, but packaged into one person.
Yeah. Okay. And so now we're back to my favorite storyline of the whole show, Shannon and Saeed. I'm so glad we didn't leave this behind in season 1, that we brought it back out of the closet and we're going to do some more of this. Shannon and Saeed grow closer, making love. he he he's like, "Yo,
He builds
check out my
a
making
little
love
temple
tent."
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
um
very strange.
However, Shannon is startled when she sees a vision of Walt drenched in water. And um, do you? It reminded me of this tweet
Wikipedia writer not trusting, not believing women. I believe Shannon
when
that
Walt
that's
was there.
Walt and
Sure.
not a vision.
Uh, Regardless, it's that tweet where it's like making out later in the evening. Her, we shouldn't. Your son is still up. Me, he'll be asleep soon. Heard in the distance. Damn, this Pepsi's strong as fuck. Walt just appears right after they had sex. He's like, "Hey, I saw y'all having sex." No, he says something like unintelligible. He like it's just.
No, he goes shh. He does a little shush.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
Okay.
Shelley agreed with me that he looks like the girl from The Ring, which is not a movie you would have
No,
seen, but
I
I think you
didn't see it.
should still know.
Yeah,
You're familiar with
it's
her,
like
right?
hair over
Okay,
her
yeah.
eyes or face.
Yeah. All wet, comes out of the well.
Okay,
Yeah.
because he's wet.
Well, I mean, it's a very distinct look of like he's a guy that looks like he's standing there, but he's dripping water the way that you drip for the 2 seconds that you right after you get out of a pool, you know?
Okay, if you Google ring girl, you get a lot of like wrestling ladies who are parading around in a ring. Let's
That's
see.
only you. That's actually
Why are
your
all these links purple?
recommendations.
Girl from the ring. Does not look like Walt. Oh my god. What are you talking about?
Doesn't look like Walt,
That's
but
what you
it's a
said.
similar well, it's not like the 2 people look the same, but they the the water,
He's
the
giving
vibe.
ring girl in that.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
When so the Wikipedia summary didn't get into this, so I had to like track I had to track down this extra bit because it's so funny. Um, when Claire, who heard Shannon's screams, arrives with Aaron, Charlie acts very paternal and scolds her for waking the baby up. A bewildered Claire ends up apologizing to Charlie. The next day, as Locke helps Claire get the baby to sleep, she complains to him about Charlie, saying that he acts like the baby's father, but she really knows very little about him. He could be a religious freak for all she knows. Why else would he carry a statue of the Virgin Mary around with him? And
Mm.
Locke's like,
Catholic disrespect, but okay.
why are you carrying a statue of the Virgin Mary? That could be religious
Well, I'm
freak
just saying it'd be a cat.
behavior.
Okay, sure.
Eh,
I guess the statue part, yeah, but
yeah.
a smaller one would be slightly more
If it
common.
was like just a rosary, that'd be different. But yeah, but
Sure.
this is my favorite part where Locke softly confronts Charlie, and he gets the certified got his ass moment of the episode. He goes like, "Heroin addict says what?" And Charlie's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah.
What is he? He says like for a heroin addict. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, but I'm recovering." Really? Yeah, he's on to him. But yeah,
Yeah.
Charlie's also super annoying in these episodes too. Like it's really like mid-season bring out the annoying crew here, you know? Like we're
Yeah.
everything when the show's working, it's like moving things along and like I don't know. We're getting the tensions like between Jack and John Locke. Like those can be like opposing characters and the tensions and revealing through there because things are like happening around them. But when it's just sort of like stagnant, like the annoying guys being annoying still,
Yeah.
it's
You
a
just
real
get
drag.
tired.
Yeah.
You just get tired when nobody has anything to do. I felt that all week because I got really sick this week and I had to take a day off of work, and, like, for the first 30 minutes, where I'm like, "I'm too sick to work, and I'm gonna go take a shower," and then, like, would do that, and then I'm like, "Oh, actually, this will be nice. I can sit in bed, and I should make the best of the day, and it'll be fine." And then it's like, "Damn, this is so boring. This sucks. I'm sick and I'm bored now." And I feel like that's what's happening on the island. Damn, we're still stuck on this island,
Yeah.
but also I'm bored.
Dude, yeah. I know that feeling. Last time I got like really sick, I didn't have the energy to do any of the fun things that you could do when you're like home from school sick as a kid and like I don't know, just like watch
Yeah.
TV or something
Watch Lost.
or watch you
Yeah.
can't do any of that. All I had to I was sleeping so much, but when I was awake, I couldn't, you know, didn't have the energy to move at all. Basically, all I could do up until then, I had done such a good job of like staying off of Twitter, but and
Mm.
that was like the only thing I had energy to do is just like scroll Twitter. And then like something about my like vulnerability in that in those hours has like made it so that it's completely gotten me back on scrolling Twitter so much.
Oh,
It just stuck
yeah.
with me where now it's just like I was like super susceptible to addictive motions or something.
Yeah.
Oh, sick, no good. All right, so let's head back to the vision of Walt or Walt being there. Saeed dismisses Shannon as saying that that was a dream. But Shannon believes it is her fate to find Walt. She follows Vincent the dog to Walt's old tent and continues searching. Oh, this is really good. She like uh Shannon walks up to like Hurley and says, "Hey, do you know where Michael's stuff is?" Hurley's like, "Oh, probably by Michael's other stuff." And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
Saeed follows her, expressing his love and promising never to abandon her. He got over the love of his life real quick, I gotta say. Wasn't that like all he was
Nadia.
doing? Yeah, all he was there for to
But
begin with.
that was a while ago, right? Because everybody else's stories, well, no. yeah, Nadia. No, wait, when was that? Everybody else's stories kind of like end the day before they get on the
No, that
flight.
happened with
But I
Saeed.
guess,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he
yeah, I
so
guess that's true with
his
his
friend blew
friend.
his head
Yeah.
off the day before he got on the flight. And so, uh,
Why? I feel like they normally wouldn't let you do that. If you were in,
an
if you were
international, like, intelligence operation.
terrorist and intelligence thing and especially at that time, enemy of Five Eyes countries, you
Mhm.
know? And they're just like,
They're
"Yep,
pretty much
you
like,
can get on
"Alright,
this
you're
flight."
good to go."
Yeah.
I have thought about this, and
I mean,
the fact
they,
that you're
like,
questioning this
push them.
is making me throw away this theory, but I kinda wondered if, like, uh, they let Saeed go really easily because they were gonna, like, shoot down the plane or something, or, like, they loaded all the enemies of the state, on there.
This whole this whole thing is built around, Saeed is your
A
idea.
Saeed or, like, someone else being an enemy of
Sure.
the state in some way too.
Like a CIA op,
Yeah,
but then also they happen to land on a magical island. Uh,
right.
yeah,
I thought that was, like, it wasn't, like, my leading theory, but I was like, "Yeah, holding space for it." Um,
sure.
okay, but yeah, he gets over but the whole thing with so he was doing the whole operation, like, last week as of the plane crash to,
Yeah.
uh, like, betray his, like, oldest friend just so he could find out where, Nadia was, and he gets on the plane to go to her in Los Angeles. That's the whole reason he's on the flight in the first place is to get to her, and, he just, like, sees a a blonde chick half his age, and he's like, "I'm not
Yeah,
gonna let you ruin
that
my
is true.
life."
Forgot about that, yeah. And she also questions him at one point, she's like, "As soon as we get out of this place, you're gonna leave me." And he's like, "No." But yeah, when you put it that way, like, he when he gets out of this place, in theory, he's got his girl waiting for him at the airport
Right.
to pick him up.
Well, I guess
The
Nadia
one
doesn't know
person
that
waiting for
he's
him.
coming, but, he has to kind of, like he would probably be, like, walking out through he's like, "Why am I" at some point, his future his wife, Shannon, will ask him, "Hey, why were you on that plane in the first place?" And he's like, I can't tell you."
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, suddenly they both hear whispers and spot Walt. He's going, "Shush, shush, shush." Shannon runs after him, but a gunshot rings out. She collapses, bleeding, into Saeed's arms. The camera reveals Ana Lucia with a smoking gun, leaving Saeed devastated as he holds Shannon's dying body in the rain.
This would have been in
Ooh.
2005, it is incredible that they didn't play that Enya song. Or actually, no, not Enya song. The
What you
Imogene Heap song.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That is prime for that for
Like
the end
the SNL
of an
sketch was
episode.
just the week before or something. Yeah, when was that?
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
I guess yeah, she got shot dead.
She got
Man,
by the cop.
by the cop. Big surprise.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the middle of the episode. This episode is brought to you by us. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It is a lot of work putting these episodes together. So if you'd like to support us, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and subscribing to our Patreon, YouTube or patreon.com/slash Dr. Skeleton. And this is usually the part of the podcast where you hear an advertisement, but please consider this. I was going to watch the Bears game on YouTube TV while we recorded this, but apparently there's something called NFL Sunday Ticket. I don't know what that is, but I'm sick of being charged for every little thing that I thought I already had. Fuck the NFL, go pirate, this kind of thing. Okay. Season 3, Episode 7, The Other 48 Days. Oh, wait, sorry. We got to rate that last episode.
Can't remember 3.
I'm going to
Passes over you.
like
It's like a 2 or a 3.
I'm going to say 2. I would say 3 because it was there at least there was. Okay, I just hate the Saeed and Shannon relationship. But
Sure.
at least something happened in it. Like
Yeah.
something really important happened, but also it was Ana Lucia's fault, and I just don't like her, so points off.
Yeah.
Just realizing my guys don't make fun of my how my green screen is maybe not 100% clear. I'm sorry. Okay. Season 3, episode 7, The Other 48 Days. Aired November 16th, 2005. Directed by Eric Lonaville. Written by Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. Eric Lonaville, another new name. So, unlike in previous episodes where flashbacks focused on the events leading up to the crash, The Other 48 Days centers around the backstories. Actually, you know what? Okay, this is copied from Wikipedia. I hate when people say centers around something. Centers on something, right? Focuses on or centers or I don't know, whatever. It concerns the backstory of the tail section characters, showing the events leading up to the previous episode. So the tail section of Oceanic Flight 815 crashes into the ocean near a beach. Survivors swim ashore, and Mr. Echo rescues a young girl named Emma. Ana Lucia performs CPR on Emma, saving her life. Together, Ana and Echo assist other survivors. Goodwin, a man from the jungle, leads Ana to Bernard, who is still strapped to his airplane seat in a tree. After Bernard is safely rescued, Goodwin builds a signal fire. That night, the others abduct 3 survivors, and Echo kills 2 of them. Afterward, Echo takes a vow of silence. Or he is quiet. But
He's quiet.
we
He's
pick up
just
on, he doesn't say like,
folks, I'm gonna be silent now.
and I'm done talking now.
Now.
And now. Or after this sentence, I am done talking. In the following day, survivors die from injuries, and the group buries the dead. On the 12th day, the others return, kidnapping 9 more survivors, including Emma and her brother Zach, who carries a teddy bear. The very teddy bear we saw in the previous episode, or the 2 ago. Ana Lucia kills one of the others, finding a list with descriptors or descriptions of the 9 kidnapped survivors, leading the group to suspect an infiltrator. After discussing the options, the survivors just had to leave the beach for safety. The group establishes a new camp near fresh water. Ana digs a pit, capturing Nathan, whom she suspects is an infiltrator due to his suspicious behavior, which is, I gotta say, as an IPS warrior myself, is exclusively going to the bathroom for too long. That's
Sure.
all that she has on Nathan. She interrogates and starves Nathan, but Mr. Echo secretly feeds him. And we have this like moment where like he's sitting in the pit, and she's like, "What do you have behind you? Move, 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 move." And I gotta say, I thought there was gonna be something about like he has some medical condition where he has to go to the bathroom for 2 hours at a time. Um, and so he was gonna like she was gonna make him move aside. We're gonna see like a pile of dookie to explain why.
Yeah. Ugh, never mind. Go
Yeah,
back. Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry. I feel bad about that
But no,
one.
it was a banana peel. I suppose they would have expected they wouldn't do a big pile of human excrement on network TV. Anna plans to torture Nathan the next day, but that night, Goodwin frees Nathan and kills him, revealing himself as the real infiltrator. The survivors later discover a Dharma Initiative bunker with a glass eye, a Bible, and a radio. Does Goodwin have a first name or another name?
Uh, no.
Okay.
I think I saw it on the Wikipedia. It's just Goodwin.
Okay. So we can't do anagram of that necessarily.
Win good.
Whoa.
I I am good. Goo. I not good.
Goon?
Dude.
Goon Dawn. Dawn Goon. We goon at dawn. All right. Anna and Goodwin climb to higher ground to use the radio. Anna reveals her suspicions about Goodwin recalling how he emerged dry from the jungle after the crash. Oh, also during this conversation, she's like, "You know, that's a U.S. Army knife. Want me to show you how I know?" It says U.S. Army on the blade. So Goodwin admits to killing Nathan and explains that the others abduct good people.
I've got the anagram.
What?
Sorry. Wooding. Wooding. Wooding.
Because he's in the woods.
Perhaps.
thanks for thanks for bringing that up.
Wooding.
Yeah. What do you think about the others only abducting good people? You think that was just him
Uh
needling her, or
what let me ask you.
yeah?
You should think about that. I should not answer
Yeah.
that. I should not answer that one. You should answer it. What do you think about them only abducting good people?
Well, I guess it would there would be something to getting Walt because he's too young to have
A soul? All
sinned
the
too
children are
much. I was
evil.
gonna say,
Sure.
but a soul
Sure.
is that
Mm.
part of it?
Well, I
Well, what
I've
also about
I've
the baby?
established before that I believe that I believe that Lost is mostly about
Mostly
Catholicism. Most
got him. Mark
I
it.
believe that it's mostly about Catholicism, and so I thought that maybe you're a very traditional Catholic, like back in the you know uh let's just say the early
Antiquity.
times. Antiquity, let's say antiquity again, when they believed you don't have a soul until you're some number of years old or whatever. Um,
When is that?
so
When is
maybe
the
that's what
cutoff?
that comes from.
What's your you hit
I don't,
middle age at the ripe age of 22 or
I
something?
don't, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't quite remember. I think it was probably still like newborn child age or whatever, but who knows? Yeah, I think you could take it either way, but yeah, I don't want to say what I know.
Okay. Well, I think it would be a good needle for him to say that to her because
Yeah,
she's got some guilt on her. So a fight ensues and Anna kills Goodwin by impaling him on a sharpened stick. We almost got the well for a brief
typical.
moment, we got the famous bat versus knife fight going on where who
Sure.
would
Yeah.
win? Guy with bat or guy with knife? Do you have a take? Do you want to weigh in
Yep.
on the bat versus knife? Which
I
would
think Bat's better.
you would pick up the bat rather than a knife in a fight?
Yeah. Longer arm.
Sure,
And
but you can take
I'm
a
pretty
hit or
scared.
two and then get in and end the fight if you get the knife is the thing.
You can take cuts.
Mm,
you can take you
but you
can
can't
take
take like
cuts.
stabs.
You can take a stab. Not all of them, but it's like you can take I think you can take just as many, if not more, cuts and stabs than you can
you
bats.
probably are you're probably quicker to incapacitate if uh if you have the bat, you can probably more quickly incapacitate your opponent than if you have the knife. If you just like get him a
Yes.
couple upside the head real hard. Actually, I
I
don't know.
think
Is that
you're
can you actually knock do people get knocked out like the way they do in movies where you just get like a little bonk all over?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like the on target percentage, is that the right way to put it? The on target percentage of the bat is going to be much higher too, right? You take a couple swings with a bat, you're going to land most of them,
But
but
you'll
you
hit
could be
like
flailing
arms
around
and
with a
stuff. Here's
knife.
the thing, like you'll
I know,
probably break my arm, but I can
exactly.
but while you're breaking my arm, I'm getting in there with the knife and I'm poking.
But even though bat has less, it has lower, the stats of the bat are like lower fatality rate,
Mhm.
but the on target percentage is way higher than the knife, I think. So you're going to land a lot of small hits, and that's going to eventually take out the person. Versus with the knife, you got to get lucky and got to get a couple,
You kind of it has to be like the
on base.
and the only way to win with if you have the knife is to hit the home run. Like getting
Yes.
like you just have to like one cut has like cut their head off, or something. It can't.
Yeah,
Uh, Otherwise, you're kind of like they're probably gonna. You
yeah,
can probably injure them really bad, but they're still gonna be in fighting
yeah.
condition enough to get you.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad we were
yeah.
able to get to the bottom of
Solve
that.
it.
Yeah. Uh, but Ana Lucia returns to the survivors, declaring them safe. On the 41st
We say,
day,
folks, a cop is here.
yeah, don't worry. I'm here to show up 7 hours later after you got robbed and say there's nothing I can do.
I've killed more people on this island than any of the others so far.
Yeah. Don't let her get anywhere near
Yeah,
Vincent. Gotta say that.
yeah.
On the 41st day, Bernard hears Boone's radio transmission, but Anna dismisses it as a trick. She emotionally isolates herself, crying alone. Soon after, the survivors find Jin washed ashore. The episode concludes with a very funny montage of the survivors' journey, ending with the accidental shooting of Shannon by Ana Lucia. It's like in fake slow mo, where they just kind of like stretch it out, but don't have the frames and just kind of stuttery, which was the style of the time, but it feels very corny.
Yep. This episode sucks big time. 1 star.
Ooh, I'm not gonna give it one because I like the like things were happening in it at least, and the like
Mm,
intrigue about who's infiltrating, even though Ana Lucia is annoying in it. I'm gonna give it a two.
okay,
This is my least favorite episode right here that
sure.
I've seen of possibly anything. Um, Keep in mind I was not able to watch the Bears game. That could have taken the prize. So season 3, episode 8, Collision, air date November 23rd, 2005. Directed by Stephen Williams, written by Javier Grillo Marchot and Leonard Dick. Featured music Outside by Stained. Just want to call that out.
Don't recall that
Me
part, but
either.
okay.
I noticed it on Wikipedia though, and I figured it was funny. So
Sure.
okay, so this is where we find out that Ana Lucia is a cop because in the flashback, Ana Lucia is an LAPD officer who was shot by a burglary suspect, Jason McCormick.
But okay, you say we find out, which is true, except could anyone have not seen that coming?
No, she's
What other
obviously.
job could Ana Lucia have possibly had? Yeah, I agree. Empirically, this is when we find out, but vibe wise, we all knew in our hearts a long time ago.
And so I guess we're like, oh, so okay. We just see the like we see 2 episodes where she's like been a real pain in the neck. She's killed one of the main characters, in fact, and someone who we've become more sympathetic to over the episodes. And so this is the opportunity for us to be brilliantly our expectations be brilliantly subverted, and like finally things have turned around and we can finally see things from their perspective or like justify something in their backstory. But the trauma that she went through to become this nasty person is that someone tried to kill a cop. Boo fucking who? Oh my god. Do you know what's
Well,
significantly worse than that ever happening to any cop is wasting my time with this episode. Jesus.
yeah. Well, okay, let's not spoil it. Even though, again, hopefully you've watched this already,
Yeah.
but still, let's not spoil it.
Yeah.
They try to take it to another
They
level at
do.
the end with the dumbest
Yes.
possible
Mhm. And
thing.
we'll get to that.
Whatever. But we'll get to it.
After recovering, she struggles with the trauma. When McCormick is caught and confesses, Anna is asked to identify him, but falsely claims he is not the shooter, leading to his release. She then tracks him down herself, confronting him in a parking lot. Well, that's at the very end of the episode because also throughout this too, we didn't. This isn't in the summary, but we see her like her first day back on the job, and she like demands to be like put back out on patrol and whatever, and she like overreaches and responds to a call that her and her partner weren't supposed to, and it's like a domestic dispute in somebody's backyard, and she
And
just
her
draws
sorry,
on him.
before we get draws on him. Also, her mom's the captain
Yeah.
too. Whatever. Crazy.
I don't care about any don't tell me I don't like this character. Don't
This character sucks,
ugh.
dude.
Yeah. But yeah, she just draws on on like her first gig, and then like okay, the one thing I did appreciate about this episode and the flashback on Lucia's story. There's an actor in these flashback episodes, and apologies to this guy if you are actually an actor and you've been in other stuff. But there's something about the way this delivers, and it's the cop that like just like kind of tells Ana Lucia something to like move it into the next scene, where he says, um, like, "You've got a call. They say it's real important." Like that's one of his lines. His
Yeah.
delivery is so non-actor like. It's so funny. And then he shows up later in the parking garage that's like, "Oh, hey, they found the guy." They go into the lineup. It's I don't know. Sorry if
Nice.
you're if
Yeah.
you are I
That
appreciate you
man.
because you're the only good part of this episode.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do so should we wrap up the flashback now and we get into Anna's thing, or should we save it for the end of the episode?
Let's just do it now. Whatever. Yeah.
So
This episode
she
sucks.
tracks down this guy, Jason McCormick. I guess the full name Jason McCormick.
Jason
Yeah.
McCormick from of the McCormick Spice family
Yes.
fame.
um yeah, she like says, "Oh, that wasn't him." So he's released. And then so she tracks him down herself, confronts him in a parking lot, and
As in, she sits and does the moody thing of sitting at a bar while he's in a bar, and then waits for him to leave alone, and then walks up behind him in a dark parking lot and says,
hey,
"Hey,
hey Jason.
Jason."
Hey Jason McCormick. He turns around and he's like, "Huh?" And she goes, "I was pregnant."
I was pregnant.
And then shoots him 6 times.
6 times, dude. Can you imagine if you were him and you died? You're just like, "What the what does that mean?" Just dying in total confusion.
Yeah.
"Uh, huh?"
Um,
It just does can't possibly mean anything to him, right? Because it's one of those situations where it's like the biggest moment in her life, and I mean, he's supposed
yeah.
to be a bad guy, so it's like no way he remembers, right? He doesn't recognize
It
her.
was part of
How would he possibly
he
connect it?
was doing a burglary, and yeah, he was trying to burgle. I'm not saying you should burgle, but like, is it that unexpected that like a cop gets shot while the guy's trying to do the thing he's there to do? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he was just trying to keep doing the thing. He wasn't like trying to get her ass. I don't know. He just
Yeah.
whatever.
There are like a million videos on YouTube of people burgling. Actually, does it count if you're stealing stuff from CVS, like in those like video from San Francisco that people always get pissed about, like people walking into like CVS and they just fill a bag with stuff. Is that burgling or is burgling something different?
So okay, so burglary and robbery, the robbery is like you're armed, I think, right? Um,
Is it okay?
and so you kind of think that
I imagine a burglary you have to have a cat suit on, sort of. That's about it
mhm.
in my head.
Okay, burglary is the act of entering a building illegally, often with the intent to steal something. Robbery is the act of taking someone's property through force or fear without necessarily entering a building. Burglary must
Okay.
include breaking and entering, while robbery does not. However, if a burglar uses threat to gain entry, the burglary becomes a robbery. So they were saying that he was middle of burglary.
In the middle of and then he became a robber. It became a robbery.
I guess so, or I get, but not even because uh, the gun wasn't used on to steal the stuff. The gun was used to against the cop.
Interesting.
He wasn't trying to steal something from the cop.
Is that a little hack, little legal hack.
Legal loophole.
You can
Draw
only
on a
yeah,
police officer.
I can only get a misdemeanor for this burglary. The gun, when I killed that officer, it wasn't part of a robbery, so just doesn't count.
Mhm.
I ca
I
I don't
believe
know.
I think if you'll look at your notes, Your Honor, I'm free to go. Oh, goddamn, he's right. We can't put him away. We should have thought of this when writing
I
our
wanna
laws.
Come here, let me shake your hand, son. That was an impressive bit of legal work that you've
Yeah.
done.
Woah. You need a job at the courthouse.
You can ju
Uh, so yeah, I can just imagine the writers for this episode, Javier Grillo and Leonard Dick, sitting there, their office, dapping each other up with the like "I'm pregnant" reveal, and be like,
I'm pregnant.
against all odds, we pulled it off, boys. You know, we were able to successfully like, oh look, she's such a villain. She's so dislikable. But guess what? She's been through this. So I guess so what? You're supposed to leave this with just like, ah, I guess it's impossible to tell whether things are good or bad. Let me just move on. Oh,
Yeah. She immediately kills another a guy after doing that, you know? It's like, not even in that scene does she really come out as the character on top, right? And there are 2 characters in that scene.
yeah. Okay, so present day on the island. After Ana Lucia accidentally shoots Shannon, Saeed pulls his gun on her in anger. Echo intervenes, subduing Saeed while Ana knocks him unconscious and ties him up. Echo, meanwhile, takes the injured Sawyer to seek medical help from the main survivor group. Echo is very cool. He's here to just de escalate and move on, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's got the right idea. His approach makes sense. Even though he's like not trusting like the main survivors or like the midsection survivors, really, he at least is like, I don't know. His responses are not like aggravating or he's trying to keep things from boiling over the whole time. And yeah, takes Sawyer to Jack. Anna plans to survive alone and sends Michael to the main camp to retrieve supplies. In the main camp, Jack uses the hatch's shower to bring down Sawyer's fever and tries to get him to take medication. So I guess like the summary doesn't get into this, but like we kind of cut back and forth to the jungle where Ana Lucia has like everybody like at gunpoint and is like nobody move. Meanwhile, like Sawyer's like, you know, dying from his infection. Saeed's tied up. She's a loose cannon. She just killed another person, and like things are tense. Uh, Very important that we get people to camp. We know things will be okay there if we just get everybody into camp. Uh, and then we kind of cut back to like what the main survivors are doing. They're Jack and Kate are like playing golf. Um,
Yeah.
it,
Oh,
it's kind of fun. I mean, like the point is
yeah.
that it's super not important. That they're just chilling. They're like wasting time, and because they don't
Yeah.
realize that something super
I'm
important is
just
happening.
laughing that once again they're back at playing golf where they do this, they kind of mentally memory hole stuff that's been happening to
Yes.
them, like the fact that they found this doomsday cult bunker or
Yeah.
whatever. uh
Seems
well, better
complete.
take a break and
Yeah.
play some golf.
Unaffected by anything. Yeah. Let's not
Yeah.
consider how this affects our situation in the slightest. Um. So eventually, Michael is sent off to the camp to retrieve supplies, and once again, Harold Perrineau, the guy who plays Michael, he does such a good job in this episode. I will say, he like runs into Sun in the garden first, and like first thing he says is like, "It's okay. Like Jin is okay. I don't have time to get into it though. Like you need to take me to Jack right now." I don't know. They both like handle it well, and it's well acted in those moments.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah,
And I appreciate I'll call out, favorite character, son, well, good a good reaction. I hate a TV show where somebody's like, "No, I won't
right.
take you. I need to go
Yes.
see." Okay, takes him to Jack.
Yep.
That is why she is the true babysitter.
Locke springs into action too, though. He does the right thing as well.
He does do a good job,
Hmm.
but we'll continue. I'm just sticking the knife back in. We've got about 4 more seasons to go. Where the whole point of the show is to figure out who was the better
The true.
babysitter in the first episode,
They
the
should.
true babysitter.
Yeah. Why they call it Lost? They should have called it True Babysitter, like True Detective. Who's the true babysitter?
Yeah, yeah,
In the main camp, Jack uses the hatchet shower to bring down Sawyer's fever and tries to get him to take medication. When he struggles, Kate helps by whispering to Sawyer, convincing him to swallow the medicine. Oh yeah, okay. Also, quick on the golf thing. Kate's really good at golf, I guess. That's kind of like a character thing we're
I
supposed to
th-
know.
I think it's more that you realize Jack sucks
Oh,
at
really?
golf.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Jack says that she hooks it when it seems pretty clear that it looks like a slice. It's definitely not a hook.
All right. Golf pro Ben over here. They had to
Yeah.
flip the shot in
Hook is
post.
they might
No,
have,
no.
or maybe I got confused, but they might have. But like hook is when the ball like draws back. Well,
Towards your side, right?
hook is extreme. Yeah, your side
Yeah.
towards you. So if you're right-handed, which means you're sort of standing on the left side of the ball, then a hook is really shanking it to the far left. A slice is far right. Yeah.
Everyone turning off their podcast. No, it's yeah. So is that supposed to? Yeah, supposed to tell us Jack doesn't know what he's talking about?
I think it's well, I don't know, but later on, Jack shanks it way into the
And what's
trees
Shank?
somewhere. Just
Oh, flubs it.
general,
Bad,
you fucked
bad
it up.
shot. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
Jack and Locke learn about Shannon's death and Saeed's captivity, demanding to be taken to Ana Lucia, but Echo refuses, explaining that she made a mistake. Jack realizes Ana Lucia is someone he had spoken to before boarding the gate. Specifically, he was gonna go hit on her. Like they were gonna
yeah.
go.
He really does act like it's his wife. We've got all of these
Yeah.
like partners meeting back up again. If you I forgot to take a screenshot, but you should consider it for the episode art or something. Jack's face, frozen, is very good. It's just such a dumb reaction.
When he hears that it's Ana Lucia.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's just also very dumb that he would react at all. Like, oh, I found out my wife. Other people are like, I found out my wife is alive. I found out my husband is actually not dead at sea. And he's like, oh, I found out this girl that I hit on for 30 seconds in the airport before I got on the plane. I'm responsible for her.
Yeah. There's another really funny Jack moment that both Zoe and I caught earlier in the episode, and we both burst out laughing. But was it this episode? I think it was in the sort of like just hangout section where they're kind of wasting time. Um, Rose offers Jack some fruit, like some cut up mango, and he
Oh
takes it
yeah,
and he like flubs eating it. He kind of like misses his mouth, but just like slightly slips, and he kind of like grabs it with his mouth like a camel or something. This is so
yeah,
funny. Okay. Michael returns to camp, informs Jack of Anna's demands, and Echo agrees to guide Jack to her under the condition that Jack leaves the guns behind. Meanwhile, Anna interrogates Saeed, asking him personal questions, and shares her trauma of being shot, feeling dead. Saeed, in his grief, tells Anna that killing her wouldn't bring any good since they both feel dead inside. Anna releases him, dropping her weapon. But Saeed chooses not to take revenge. She says like, "You should kill me." Of that, and I like literally yelled at the TV at this point with like, "Leave me out of whatever your bullshit is. You come in here like shoot somebody, you like tie me up, all this, and now you're like, do justice on me." It's like just go away. You're ruining everything. Oh, she was so annoying. God. I want to be involved whenever your thing is. Fuck off. He goes over to Shannon's body and like holds her. he's not gonna deal with you. The episode concludes with the tail section survivors reaching the main camp, reuniting couples like Bernard and Rose and Jin and Sun. Saeed carries Shannon's body back to camp, and Ana Lucia faces Jack for the first time since the crash. End credits. Maybe we can get that smoke monster to take care of both of them right away in one swoop. We can move on with the show. This is 1 out of 5. I hated this episode so much.
Yeah. 1. Sucks.
Also, can we spend like 2 minutes helping Jin get the cuff off his wrist?
Shelly keeps asking me every time I'm watching, why does he still have it on? I'm like, I don't have a new answer for you. Just nobody's helped him figure it out.
Yeah. It's got to be very annoying to have that on your wrist the whole time. I guess like it was recently, like they referenced it at least earlier in the season. They're like, oh look, he's a fugitive or something because he's got the cuff.
Yeah.
But like, so I assume this is gonna like be important, continue to be important as the series goes on. But like, I feel bad for him. That's gonna be annoying.
I want to show you and our listeners in the worst possible way, though, the Jack face that I'm talking about that I I love when he sees Ana Lucia at the end.
Oh God, that's what he's. Yeah, okay.
Just disgusted.
I wonder what the direction was there. Like, can you act like in recognition, but trepidation, but happy, but also maybe you can get what you had going in the airport bar going a bit again.
Yeah. Act as if this is the first time you're seeing her since the airport bar, so it's almost like the second after you stop seeing her at the airport bar, but as if the only thing that happened in between then was you found out that she murdered your friend. So it's like a very confused disgust.
Yeah. Confused disgust. Disgust. That's going to be it for the show today. If you like the show and want to hear more from Ben and I, consider joining our Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show and get into the stuff that's simply just too hot for the main feed. Right into the show, drskeletonsartschool@gmail.com. Don't email into the podcast. Don't email us with screenshots of how we get 0 views on YouTube. That's not what I'm asking you to do, which is what some of you have been doing. Next week, we're watching season 2, episodes 9 through 12. See you then. Goodbye.